What's good? Welcome back to another episode of the Goldblooded podcast, episode 13. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to discuss about. But before we get into things, we do have a special guest with us today. Um, our guy Sam here from Light Years podcast. If you can introduce yourself, Sam, to the people who don't know you.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys having me. I'm Sam, host Light Years podcast. I think at this point, probably the oldest Warriors pod going. Washed.
Mm.
I don't know. I've been doing this for way too long. But anyway, no, I love what you guys do. Obviously, I check out you guys watch parties and stuff on Playback and excited to join.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. He's also the creator growth at Playback as well. So, shout out to
Double
Sam.
dipping.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sam as well. But to get into things, how's everyone feeling today before we start talking about the Warriors and what they got going on in this off season, man? How's everyone doing? Denver, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm tired.
Sam, how are you doing, bro?
I've pivoted to pure pessimism because I've tried to take the optimist approach and I've just been disappointed every step along the way. So if I can like spite them into some good moves, then we'll go with that.
Yeah, man, that's the way to go.
That is the way to go. I'm not gonna lie, I was right with you. I was feeling a little bit optimistic. As the days went on, I felt more and more optimistic. But as soon as PG declined his player option, everything was crushed for me. I'm not gonna lie. To get into things though, we got some interesting news. I don't even know where to start because there's been so much that happened this past week. Last week we were discussing potential landing spots for Klay Thompson. Now he is potentially, and like I don't know if it's confirmed or not because some reporters are saying the deal isn't fully made, but it's been agreed upon. Klay Thompson is a
I
Maverick.
think it is like he is gonna be a Maverick. They just don't know what they're getting
The deal is
back
going to be
yet.
okay, but Klay Thompson's a Maverick, that's for certain. 3-year deal, about $50 million, so somewhere around $60 million annually. Um, Looks like what is that like? Just above the mid level, 16 mil a year. Uh, for Klay, I think that's really good for him. For the fit wise, I think that's actually very solid. Dallas has been struggling to find a consistency on the spacing floor, and as well as just finding extra help and scoring help for Luka and Kyrie, because when they couldn't get it going in the postseason, it was a problem. But that aside, how do you guys feel now that like Klay Thompson officially after 13 years, 4 titles, insane moments with the Warriors? I grew up watching him literally as a child. Um, this doesn't feel like I'm not gonna lie, this doesn't feel right. It just something about it just feels weird. I'm still not kind of used to it. But what are your guys' initial thoughts about him joining the Dallas Mavericks?
Hey, man, that I can get behind that, man. I don't have any issues with the Mavericks. If he went to the Lakers, I would have been pretty conflicted. But yeah, man, I'm fully rooting for him.
The Lakers definitely would have been worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could have handled that one.
Fully rooting for him just because I need to be petty to all the people that were crying and wanted him gone for the entire season, and now that it's happened.
I have a few thoughts. Long term, I'm gonna remember him for all the positive. Right now, it's hard not to be like a little angry and just like disappointed in the way it all went down. Seems pretty childish the way he handled the entire negotiation. Like, I don't really know how else to say it. Like, he didn't like the Warriors' initial offer, even though it was higher than what he ended up signing for. Instead of just, going and getting a 4-year deal and getting the Warriors to match it, he's like, I'm out. I don't know. It's behavior I wouldn't have expected from someone who's been with the Warriors for 13 plus years. But it is what it is. He's gonna do what he wants to do. I'm more curious about this fit. I don't think it's gonna work for him.
You think so?
I think he's gonna fucking hate playing with Luka and Kyrie. I think he's used to everyone moving the ball to find him shots. They're gonna dribble all over the place, and he's gonna get blamed if he's not hitting open jumpers. And he's going to have to hit them kind of cold. Like it's different than running off of screens than like not touching the ball for 5 minutes straight. And then all of a sudden you get it and you got to put it up.
Yeah.
So
No, when Klay Thompson has a couple possessions per game where he's just ISOing with Luca on top calling for the ball, he is gonna hear
He's
the
gonna hear it.
craziest Slovenian slurs.
Oh man, it's the thing for me is to go back to Clay and just him being a Maverick. I'm kind of with you, Sam, in terms of like it's bittersweet. Like I am somewhat happy for him because he wants to start fresh. He wants to just put himself in a different situation and just be locked in on what he wants to do with his own things. And at the end of the day, all you have is yourself. So you just got to look out for yourself in the best way, shape, or form. But as just like a fan of this team, as someone who's literally been watching this team for like 10 plus years now, it just feels like strange. Like I watched him come into the league, become the player that he's become, ask the money that is deserving of, and then when it's all said and done, just the relationship is tarnished. Now, who it's tarnished with is a bit different because Bob is not here, and I think that's one of the reasons why he left is because he didn't want to be the one to tell Klay that I don't know if I'm going to be able to give you the things that you need. And with the relationship that he has with people, I didn't think he want to jeopardize that, to be honest. But for Klay, though, I think the fit will be fine. I do agree that there's not a lot of ball movement. The Mavericks do shoot a ton of corner threes, so he's definitely going to be in those corners for Luka to skip past to 100%. He might get a little frustrated during the start of it, realizing that there isn't really a lot of movement. They might have like one or two plays for him coming off like a pin down, something like that. But there isn't. And for Klay, you're right. It's just a lot of like he's a rhythm shooter. As much as he's amazing at catch and shoots, he needs to come off of something. When he's moving and shooting the ball, that's when he's at his best. And if he's just standing still hitting corner threes, then it might not be the best for him. But I know Klay. He won't allow that to happen. So I don't think he'll allow that to happen at all.
I don't know, man. I'm curious to see. I just feel like you're right. I could see him and Luka butting heads. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, 100%. I could most definitely see that. I think Kyrie will be kind of like the middleman, and he'll kind of understand like the things about moving the ball. But it's just a lot of like ball stopping in Dallas. Like it's just Luka dribbles for 14 seconds. He creates an advantage, which he does all the time, 100%. Elite playmaker. But then it doesn't really like the Warriors get into sets and the ball just starts swinging from half court. Like Steph to Draymond to Loon, DHO. They draw two, they kick out. Everyone's just moving and the ball's just moving. And Klay is so used to that. And then it goes from that to just, okay, I'm just in the left corner just chilling for like 5 minutes. And I may get 2 shots.
I also think defensively it's going to be rough. Like we already know
Donnie said earlier, Klay, Kyrie, and Luka.
That's as Patrick Beverly would say, he's licking his chops.
PJ Washington's gonna have a lot of work cut out for him. Yeah,
but they got another free aid.
Najee Marshall.
Yeah, Najee Marshall. Nice. They replaced that with Derrick Jones Jr. So that's gonna be interesting. But does he even play in the starting lineup? Like what? I'm assuming Klay starts with Kyrie, Luka, Klay. I'm assuming that Gafford maybe is still starting, and then they have PJ as well. But then it's just like that defense is so bad. Like it's so bad. And I don't know if you'll be able to run the switch everything defense that they like to do sometimes. Because you can't do that, especially with Klay. Klay is a blow-by guy now, guys. Sometimes he plays defense, but it's not consistent enough. So that's why offensively, he will get open shots 100%. I don't know if the shots that he's getting will be something that he'll be happy about. Mm-hmm. But he'll get open shots for sure. Defensively, though, he might be asked a lot out of Jason Kidd. Because he's like, I don't know how to describe Jason Kidd, but defensively, he's just like, you just got to play defense kind of thing. There isn't really like a crazy scheme for him. He just wants guys to be able to guard up front, like guard your man in front of you. And Klay can do that at times, but on a night-to-night basis, asking Klay to be that guy or the second guy, it's just a lot. But I'm happy for Klay, but I'm also pissed that he really just left us.
I think I have one prediction: Warriors Mavericks will be a Christmas Day game. I'll call it right now. They're gonna sell the shit out of, Klay versus Steph, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
At least if the Warriors get someone else, they might keep the Warriors off national TV if this is what they're running out there next year.
I think we had the most national or the second most national TV games this past season. We're about to go from that to like the 23rd in the span of a year. It's crazy. But that game that now that you mention it would be
Steph
really
still
interesting.
sells.
Yeah.
Steph does still definitely still sells, but a Christmas Day Warriors versus Mavericks Klay return game, that's huge. That's numbers. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh.
That's numbers right there.
First return to Chase Center will be on Christmas Day. It's a lot of emotions right there. I don't
That is
know.
a lot of emotions right
I'm
there.
not ready to process that just yet. I'm still kind of getting used to the idea that he's not going to be a Warrior next year.
I'm still not used to it. I still think he's gonna pull up to our practice facility and just start hooping. Like I don't know. And do they have even like is he gonna be able to drive his boat in Dallas? Is he gonna be able to do that?
No.
Because he likes boats, bro. I don't know if he's
There's
going to do that.
If it was Houston, yeah, but Dallas is very far inland.
Lake. Is he a lake guy now? I don't know. There's
Might
got to
just
be
have
some.
to be.
Let's see.
He used to drive his boat to games. Now he has to drive normally like the rest of us. So that's pretty interesting. But to move on from Klay, damn. There's another player that we could have potentially gotten and to replace Klay, and we didn't get him in Paul George, and he is a 76er. And he ended up becoming the second highest paid player in the NBA as of today. The only person who's being paid higher than him could have been his future teammate in Stephen Curry at 55 mil. But for PG, damn, I don't know what went wrong with us. I'm hearing so many different things. Initially, apparently we didn't want to include Kuminga or any of the youth, and we just wanted to surround it with like older contracts, older players, expiring like salary dumps. But then I was hearing from other like Warriors reporters that no, we included these guys and we had different variations of the trade, but the Clippers were never really they didn't want to actually send PG over here. So I'm a bit conflicted because I genuinely don't know what to believe. I want to say we tried, but if some people are mentioning that we didn't want to give up youth, then I'm very upset at that. Like it's just not like you have to go all in for your best player, in my opinion. But do you guys think that the Warriors went all in for that trade?
Yeah, go first.
I mean, in terms of like the assets that were reported to have been offered, I don't think they've like actually released any of like the actual individual like offers that they actually made. But in terms of like players and like pieces that they actually offered, they offered Chris Paul, may or may not have offered Jonathan Kuminga. Some sources are still like back and forth about that. Moses Moody, a couple other pieces, Andrew Wiggins. So I mean, it definitely seems like they attempted to get a deal done, and as the sources also said yesterday, like everybody was on board with him going to Golden State. Paul George was on board, Steph and Draymond were on board, and then the Clippers just let him walk
For nothing as well. That's the strangest part. But Sam, what did you think about that? Like, did you hear from anyone, or what were your initial thoughts like with the Warriors not being able to make that move?
I think the Clippers would have had to fleece the Warriors for them to do it. Just thinking about it logically, they're going into a new building next year. Do they really want to give Paul George to a relatively local rival, a rival who, quite frankly, has more fans in their building when they play in LA than the other way around? I think the Warriors would have had to
close, by the way.
Yeah, the Warriors would have had to like give them something that, you know, like Ballmer or whoever the front facing person is could be like, see, we ripped him off. So I got my hopes up really high because it was clear Paul George was into the idea and Steph and Draymond were into the idea, and like that hurdle was crossed. But like letting it go and pass for a day or two, like, come on, man, they're not going to trade locally like that. It's just it's unrealistic.
I think that makes sense in terms of like you see this team 4 times a year, somewhat of a rivalry going on over there. So
Sure.
it just doesn't make sense unless they get a haul back. Now, if the Warriors did offer that haul and they did say no, that is insane because essentially for the Clippers, you let PG walk for nothing. And now he's a part of a franchise that signed a few pieces back, has PG, and they're looking pretty serious if they can be healthy. And that's a very big if with Joel Embiid. So now you're in a position where you're just signing a bunch of guys. They signed DJJ which I think is a solid signing. I think they just signed Batum literally right before we went live or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
so they signed a few good pieces, but they're still in a situation where it's just not like you're missing what PG's given you as just a scorer and as an option. And now they're in a situation where they're being looked at like, well, you just really let PG walk for nothing when you could have had assets back, and that just makes you look bad as a team, right? Um, but for the Warriors, I don't know where to start. It's like a part of me understands why they didn't do the things that they did in terms of the trade. Like Kaminga, Moody, Wiggins, that's a lot. Like all your wings gone. Your picks is gone. You're asking for PG with a max deal, and that's a lot, especially at the age of 34. If he was like 30 years old, I would be more willing to do that if he was like 4 years younger. But
And I
at
bet
the
that's what the Warriors were saying too. They're like, come on, man. He's 34 and he's about to walk. You can't, like, we'll give you some stuff, but you can't be expecting the package you set for him 5-6 years ago with Shea and like 50 draft picks.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not the same caliber of player that we're trying to trade here as well. If he was like I said, 30, 29 years old, then I would be like, okay, I understand us giving that type of package up because he's younger and he'll like go into this contract and be older, but still somewhat of a solid player. Um, but on the looks, like on the other side of it, I'm also like, what are you gonna do to compete though? Because I'm still like of the belief that the Warriors want to compete, unless they're doing this thing where they just want to get rid of everyone and just duck the tax in its entirety and then just blow it up.
I
So
mean,
it's
they're
like, what are
they're
we doing?
trying. I just dropped a link in here if you want to screen share it. They're not hiding the Lowry Mark. By the way, great spelling of Lowry.
Nice.
The Lowry Markkinen.
Spelled his first and last name wrong. That's impressive, actually.
I didn't even catch that, but yeah, only one. Yeah, they messed up the last name too. Let's see. Maybe play the video before they delete the tweet.
Oh no, I got it. It's right here.
What now with the Warriors with Klay
Wait,
gone?
actually, oh no,
Well,
that is how you spell his
they'll
last
do
name.
this
My
sign and
bad.
trade, and Klay Thompson's agent, Greg Lawrence, is finishing that with the teams. They'll get back essentially a trade exception from Dallas. Listen, they've been trying to be aggressive in other places in Golden State. One player that a number of teams have tried to target, Lauri Markkanen of the Utah Jazz. Utah's not sure it wants to trade him, but they have to listen. They've been listening. And a lot of the teams who lost out on Mikal Bridges from Brooklyn have transferred over to trying to see if they can land Lauri Markkanen out of Utah. Golden State is one of those teams. What now with the Warriors with Klay gone? Well,
Woj always carrying water there. Like, if you wanted Mikal Bridges, why would you want Lowry? Like, they could not be more opposite of players, you know? So
I don't know. I feel like sometimes we'll just be saying things just to fill in sentences to go into his next point. So I just kind of tune it out. But yeah, I like the Laurie addition 100%. And I think with the trade that we were just discussing in Klay and the 3-team deal, I guess with Charlotte as well, the Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks, I think the Warriors' main target is, yes, let's haul in as much assets as we can get from anyone, so we can give these assets to the Utah Jazz to go get Lauri Markkanen, because I believe he's only making like $18 million a year as well.
yeah.
So he's not on like a horrible contract or anything like that neither. You just got to give up something. And the question is, with these assets that we're gonna get back, do you think Kaminga, Moody, B-Pods, do you think any of these guys are going to be involved in that trade? And if so, how many?
I think Pods would most likely be involved in the trade. I'm looking at it from Utah's perspective. If Utah's trading Lauri Markkanen, they're basically trying to get the first pick in the draft next year. They want to bottom out. So they want to get as much stuff that is like long-term looking as opposed to stuff they have to immediately pay in the short term. I would guess they're asking for draft picks in like the 2030s when Steph is long retired, etc. Stuff like that, where they can kind of pull off what OKC did, where, bottom out, get a couple guys, develop them. And then next thing you know, you're on the up and up and you have like 50 picks in your arsenal to make those super trades when you want to. So, yeah, I mean, for me, the real question is, do the Warriors have enough? Or is someone like San Antonio, who has all those picks, are they going to come out and just be like, yeah, we like Lowry next to Wemby. Here's 8 picks because we got way too many of them, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm seeing it. But you could make a point. You could make the case if the Warriors made like picks 6 years down the road available, like when Steph is likely retired and on a beach somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's a more attractive draft pick than a Spurs pick. The Spurs aren't going to suck when Wemby's his prime.
That is
Every one
true.
of those picks are going to be like number 26, number 28, something like that.
That's 100% true. Denver, who do you think is going to be involved in this deal for out of the youth for the Warriors and what they're giving up? And if so, how many do you think are going to be there?
I'm gonna be honest. I have no fucking clue. I don't know. I
You don't
feel
think?
like
Okay.
I feel like I've just gotten like flamed so much the last like couple months for like trying to predict things happening or like for just I don't know. It's very strange.
It's the name of the game, man. Like I wasn't right. For some reason, I thought that Kevon Looney and Andrew Wiggins were going to be NBA basketball players this year, but I was wrong. So I had to take that one up on the chin. There's so many that you're right and you're wrong sometimes at the end of the day. But for me, I'm not gonna lie. It depends on what we get back from Klay's sign and trade and how many picks and what the assets are. Then I could go and determine who else from the Warriors is going to be in the trade as well. So if we don't get that much back, I'm assuming like Kuminga or either Moody, probably be in there as well. But if you're the Utah Jazz, right, you're giving up Lauri Markkanen and you're going to get a haul back 100%. That's what you're going to get. And for Kuminga, he's a good player for sure. It's a lot of teams do want him, but he has to be paid now because this is his last year or I'm pretty sure he's making like $8 million and he's going to have to get paid at some point. I think in the next offseason, he has to get paid. So are you going to pay him the money that you wanted to pay Lauri essentially?
I think you do. I think the other thing that Lowry allows you to do is like, you don't have to pay him till next year. So in theory, you can have a deeper roster this year as you figure it out in some ways. Like Wiggins is unlikely to be included in this deal. He makes more money than Lauri Markkanen. Now I'm not saying Wiggins stays 100%, but you can either keep him and maybe he gets closer to who he used to be because now you have like a true second option and he can just worry about defense and occasionally hitting some shots. Or maybe you flip him for a couple role players because you got your second star but you depleted some of your depth and you're looking at Wiggins as like the guy can go get you, I don't know, like 2 guys who make half of his salary or something like that. Like it does open up more possibilities than like Levine would. Levine, you don't have to give up anything to get, but he takes up a lot of cap space.
He just locks you down for a very long time. Another question that I had was, do you think, because we just signed De'Anthony Melton 1 year, $12 million. Do you think the Warriors signed him so that they can move him? Do you think it's a possibility?
Who, Kuminga?
Not Kuminga, Melton. The signing
Melton? I think they signed Melton because they think they're going to get Lauri Markkanen because he makes perfect sense to be essentially a better version of GP2 next to Steph. Like he's going to guard point of attack. Unlike GP2, he can shoot it a little bit. He'll hit like 38% of his threes.
Yeah.
It's like perfect role player to put around a couple stars. So I think that makes sense. I'm assuming GP2 is 100% getting traded, just like his contract matches up. He's going to be filler going the other way. So that's my guess. But I mean, your point's also good. Like if they suck and they go the other way, they could trade him at the deadline and get a pick for him.
Yeah, exactly. So it is some flexibility there. I like where it's going, and this is my problem right here. Is like, I like where this is going. This makes sense, but will it actually happen though? That's the thing. That's like we've been asking ourselves as Warriors fans the entire year, even from back to last offseason when we traded Jordan Poole. We got the contract dump for CP3, which to this day I think we still got fleeced because we could have had KP, Sam. We could have had Kristaps Porzingis instead. But instead, we had to give up Jordan Poole picks and players to go get CP3's contract. and for it not even to be moved as well. And for me, I'm still a little bit upset at that because, yeah, you're under the second apron now or the first apron. You became an Emily team, but we wanted to like make significant change. And if this doesn't work, which I'm hoping it does, but I don't. I'm still I don't know where I'm like neutral, kind of leaning to likely, but I don't want to get my hopes up. But if this doesn't work, then where are you gonna be at now?
Yeah.
You're gonna like where are you
I
gonna
don't know
be
where
at
you
now?
go.
Like there's nowhere to go from here. It's like, okay, PG wasn't an option, you couldn't get PG. BI, we've been linked to him,
He's
but we
going to
never.
sack, man.
Yeah, he's probably gonna go to Sacramento. But even if so, I'm pretty sure Steve Kerr and Brandon Ingram had some issues like with coaching and problems. So I don't know if Steve Kerr wants to coach him. Zach LaVine, you're afraid of his contract, which I understand, but I think he actually fits with his team. Um Kaiser with the $5 power chat prayers up. We appreciate the prayers over here, man. We are currently stressing. But to go back to the point, where do you go from here? Like honestly, like where do you go from here if you can't land the pieces that you want? Because then now it's like you have Steph, which to me is still a top 10 player in the NBA. And when you have that kind of player, you have to, for me at least, you gotta at least be able to be in a position where you can compete. If not, you might have to do possibly what you don't want to do and move on from him. That's like my biggest problem right there. I don't know what we're gonna do if we're not gonna be able to make those trades happen. Um, so an update on the Thompson Mavs trade. Thompson will do a straight 3-year deal without a player option. Sources tell ESPN. So there isn't no
Wow.
player option for him to opt into or opt out. So his money is all guaranteed. So shout out to Thompson getting the bag, man. Still doesn't feel real that he's a Maverick. Do you think he's gonna wear the same jersey number or it's available, right? I think Tim Hardaway Jr. he wore 10.
Kyrie is wearing 11, I think.
Does Kyrie give up his jersey number? That's the question of the day.
Was that the holdup over the entire negotiation? He wanted to make sure to get it, you know? Yeah, he is. Man, I haven't thought about it, but I can't imagine him wearing anything other than 11. Like, it's going to look really weird if he's wearing number 20.
It's definitely going to look weird, 100%. Yeah. I've been saying this the past, like, few days, like, at least for me now, like, when I'm older, hopefully have children and stuff, like, what happened?
Someone said he's going to wear 30.
Oh.
No, that'd be insanely petty if he wore 30. That'd be outrageous. But for me, at least, like seeing Thompson in a Dallas Maverick jersey, Harden in a Clipper jersey, KD in a Suns jersey, even though these guys aren't like washed, like when we have children or when we get older and our kids are like using NBA media as jokes, they're going to be using these players that we're discussing right now as terms for being a wash player, like how we do with Shaq in the Celtics or in a Raptors jersey.
I talked about this in my video yesterday. This must have been exactly what it felt like for Spurs fans when Tony Parker just randomly went to Charlotte for a year.
I forgot he did that. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot he was a Charlotte Hornet, I'll be honest. But honestly, right. I want to talk about we didn't get to speak about this that much. Our draft picks. How do you guys feel about Quinton Post and his presence with the Warriors and what he could bring to us potentially? Because we finally drafted a 7-footer. Can shoot the ball too.
Might be trading for another 7-footer. Just guards and 7-foot shooting guards. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, man. We're finally doing the things we need to do. You know, we're going from heavy wings to bigs now, man. It's just guards and bigs now, man. You know, but
man,
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say my thoughts on their draft are I don't know if Dunleavy's a good GM per se. I think it's a little early to tell, but I do think he's a good college scout. Yeah. That's the one takeaway I have. Like he's good at finding dudes, in the margins, guys who can help you that way. It looks like he got another good pick at number 52 this year. We'll see. So, I mean, that's something. It doesn't mean much if they can't land a star, though.
Yeah, that is true. For me, at least, I think Quinton. I did some film on him. I'll be honest, I'm not a heavy college guy. Like when they come into the league, then I'll do my scouting and just see how they play and what team they're on and how it will fit. And I think he did I agree with you. As a GM in the NBA, I have questions for Mike Dunleavy, some definite questions. But as a scout, for sure, I do think he does his job very good. Even dated back to last year with B-Pods and Trace Jackson Davis as well. Those two players were magnificent, so magnificent that they're somewhat untouchable right now. I don't know if they want to actually be able to give them up. And with Quinton, I think drafting a 7-footer is just needed because you don't have a center. Being able to catch and shoot the ball at the clip that he does and the accuracy that he produces is very good as well. And I think him being a really good pick and roll player as well too is just a plus. And he's great at blocking shots. We'll teach him how to set a screen. Obviously, Kevon Looney, the school of screening with Draymond Green. And I think he could be very useful for us as well. Very, very useful. That's not easy.
I have one meta take on the pick between the Quinton post pick, between trying to get Lowry Markkanen, and between listening to every Dunleavy quote. I think he's a pretty fucking big believer in like the Celtics brand of 5-out spacing and the need to get more shooting, and kind of like the opposite of what we've seen with the Warriors, which is they kind of prioritize guys who do everything but shoot the ball. So I think that's kind of exciting. Like, I don't know. You guys watched it last year. It sucks watching Steph play with dudes that no one guards. So
yeah, that was my biggest problem. It was just like I watched Steph every game go into games and just set a lot of off-ball screens because no one could create for themselves.
Yeah.
Like literally no one could create for themselves.
We literally had a game, I'll never forget it, against the Brooklyn Nets where Stephen Curry was the only player on the roster that hit a 3-pointer. I didn't even think that was possible. Yet it happened.
It was so bad. It was like we had a streak too where like no one cracked 20 points for like the first 20 games of the season or something like that other than Steph Curry. And it was just like everything was pointing to like, yo, we need to get you some help. We definitely need to get you some help. And for some reason, to this day, it burns me that CP3 was running that much with Steph Curry on the floor because he turned.
They thought that group could have done something special, man. We can't.
Last year is the exception.
Steve Kerr has so many bad quotes.
Saying that 7 games into the season is outrageous.
It's crazy outrageous.
It's not relevant, but that game against OKC was on my birthday, and so I was watching it. And Steph had that amazing game winner. Was it over Chet and Ludor? Someone like that. It was definitely like teardrop. He's looking like the best I've ever seen him. And Steve Kerr's out here talking about how the Warriors are back. I was drinking the Kool-Aid harder than I ever had that evening. That was like me at my peak right there. And then we all know where it went from there.
It's crazy because I'm right there with you. We watched that game we won. We're 6-2. I'm like, yeah, like. Come on, and me in my head, I'm like, this is a filler year too. We're gonna plan for something bigger next year as well. And then literally right after that, it was just all downhill, man.
Am I remembering?
But now we can look up to the future now, though. We might have some things to look forward to if we could actually get them done.
Let me ask you guys. Let's say they do get Lowry Markkanen. Do you put all the CP stuff behind you? Are you just beyond it? You gonna give him a pass? You ready to move on?
Oh yeah,
or are you still gonna hold it against him?
No. If we get Lowry Markkanen,
hold on, what?
I will ignore everything. Y'all got Lowry? What?
I don't know. Maybe it's just
this
has got to be a troll. This has got to be a troll.
I don't have.
I have my phone on Do Not Disturb as well, so
please don't have anything.
Yeah, it's not. There's nothing. So.
Oh my god, bro! I thought we got Lowry for a second there, bro. I was about to jump up from my seat.
Sam, we need timeouts.
Oh yeah, you are the creator growth. When these guys be doing, we need to time these guys out sometimes. Like a cool little minute, 5 minutes. Let these guys get a break.
I'm gonna note it in the internal Slack right now.
Yeah,
also,
to be fair, you're not the first person to ask for it. It is on the list of things that you should expect in the coming months.
Yeah. See, look at this, man.
Also, can we please optimize the screen sharing? Oh my god.
We'll talk about.
Wait a minute. Oh, that's a fake one.
That's a fake.
You
gotta see. The thing is, Sam. You gotta look at. This is what I learned. Don't look at the account name or the picture. Look at the @ and look for the check mark. And with Woj dropping a bomb like that, there's just no way it's only at 40 likes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's like 2,000 people per minute who's liking that tweet. But to go back to the Warriors and what their future beholds, Steph, man, we have to talk about it because this is the part we're kind of hinting at earlier, but I want to actually talk about it fully. What's Steph's like future looking like if we're not able to make this trade? Like, what does he want to do? What is his outlook on this? Because you're in a situation now where you potentially could come into the season possibly worse than beforehand, and with not as much help offensively. So if you're Steph, where's your head at if you can't get Laurie?
I don't even know because like I could say, oh, I can't see a reality in when she leaves, but then again, I said the same thing about Klay 3 months ago. So who even knows?
This is dark. I don't know, man. I know it's important to Steph to be the one team, like the only one franchise guy of his generation. If you look at it, everyone of his era is going to end up having played for multiple teams among the superstar players. He's the only one who's going to be that way. So
Steph and Draymond are now the only players in the league, I think, that are like still on the team that drafted them.
Yeah. At least guys who have more than a decade tenure. Yeah, I guess Boston has, Jalen and Jason, but they got a long ways to go to get here.
Yeah, the longest tenured players. I should say.
To answer your question, like I don't know. I just can't imagine him. I can't imagine him asking out. But yeah, if the Warriors continue to strike out, like, can they really sell him on? But look at all these expiring contracts and picks. Just stay patient. Who knows who's going to become available at the trade deadline? It's gonna, like you can only sell it for so long.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think with Steph, if I'm Steph, I'm looking at this like I have to factor in a lot of things. Obviously, you've been here your entire career. You probably do want to end things here, but you're in a situation where I still feel like I could compete. I still feel like I can be the best player on a championship team. If you give me the right pieces to go out and win, I could go do it. But if you can't give me those things that I need, what's the point of me staying? Because I'm just wasting years in which I could go compete. And I think we all can agree Steph is a competitor. He wants to go compete at the highest level every year until he retires. I don't think there's any satisfaction with what he has accomplished. Like he knows what he's done in this league, but he wants to just solidify it even more. We all know how much of like I said, a competitor he is. So for Steph, it's just like you got to look at things. Unfortunately, the best case scenario for you, kind of how like Thompson did it. Like Thompson won money. The Warriors couldn't give him the money that he wanted. The Warriors wanted him back, but at a cheaper price so that they can be more flexible. He didn't want that. He wanted to be able to go and get the money that he wants and that he thinks he deserves, which is right by him. And he left. And during that process, he felt like he got slighted by the Warriors. So he definitely didn't want to come back. So for Steph, it's just like for one thing and one thing only, you can't handle the situation the way you did with Klay with Steph. That can't happen. I'm sorry. You giving Steph the cold shoulder, that cannot happen. That can't happen. It couldn't happen with Klay, but it did. And the way you handled it was poor. So I think with Steph, it's just you have to be able to get the things that he needs. Or if you can't, get a haul of trade picks for him and restart. Because if you want to look out for your franchise, letting your best player deteriorate in value is not what's going to be best for you going forward, in my opinion. It's just not.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Let's say they do complete the Lowry Markkanen trade. And let's assume it's a bunch of picks, so it doesn't really affect this year. Maybe the future will regret it, but it doesn't matter this year. And like half the young guys, and GP2 and Looney, so they're no longer pieces. So your starting lineup is Steph, Melton, probably Wiggins, Lowry, and Draymond. How good is that team? Can that team actually compete? I think it's better than last year's team, which isn't.
Yeah, if they go into another year with Draymond at the 5 as their plan, oh my god,
that's a bit shaky. I'm not gonna lie.
What if Lowry's the 5?
The thing is though, with Lowry, how was he defensively? pairing with Draymond Green. I think he'll be better, but
You're
how
not
would he
signing.
be?
You're not signing him for his defense.
Exactly. That's the thing, right? And putting and with Steve Kerr putting Draymond at the 5 is like kind of
He
similar
does
to the
rebound.
issue.
He does rebound though. I'll give him that. The guy does rebound like an actual big man. So
Okay.
at least
That is a plus.
that's
100%.
yeah, it's better than playing pods at the 4 or whatever the hell they were doing last year, right?
Hey, Paz is a great rebounder too, man. He'll get in there and get some boards, set some charges. He's really the dirty work guy, even though I want him to be the backup guard for us. But to answer your question, I think that's a solid 5. But my biggest X factor is Wiggins. Like, can Wiggins get back to somewhat of what he was when he was playing basketball?
Can he not have something happen to
Yeah,
him?
can he just not have a family emergency and him not being able to play for half the season? Or can he just go into a summer and play basketball? Because right now, the Warriors told him he can't play for Canada's basketball team because they might have to trade him and they don't want him to get hurt or whatever. So I don't know if that's still the case, but we kind of need him to get back to where he was. Because if he is who he was in 2022, then I for sure believe that's one of the best starting 5s in the NBA.
I mean,
100%.
if you get Markkanen, don't you kind of have to keep Wiggins? Because one, Lowry doesn't make a ton of money, so Wiggins' contract isn't really that big an issue anymore. 2, you want a high-end wing defender. Isn't like gambling on Wiggins figuring it out probably better than anything you can get in the trade market?
Yeah,
Like, just
especially 100%. This market now is not that. I was saying earlier, it's thin. It's not. There's not a lot of wings. Like, you're not going to be able to get the things that you need out of Wiggins, which is why I think the gamble makes sense. But I'm saying Wiggins has to get back to that though, because what he is now is nowhere close to what he was beforehand. All he has to do is hit his catch and shoot threes at a normal clip, which I think he's capable of doing because he's done it. Be able to attack a closeout, which I think he can do, and handle the ball better than the way you've been handling it beforehand. And he just hasn't been in shape. I don't know if you guys could tell, but for me, I feel like I could get a sense of, okay, you haven't been training in the off season. You really just haven't. Like you came into this year out of shape, especially defensively. So it's like we need you to get back to where you were. We definitely need you to get back to where you were. Man, Denver, what do you think about the lineup, man? Do you think that suffice?
With Lowry?
Yeah, the Lowry lineup. Yeah, correct.
I feel like it would be much more beneficial to utilize him as a 4. But then again, I feel like that complicates things about where you would put Draymond. Maybe you would put Lowry at the 3, kind of like how KD was at the 3, even though he was 7 feet tall. With Draymond and either a mix of JaVale McGee or Zaza Julia next to him.
Yeah.
But Lowry at the 2.
Larry at the 2 is insane. I don't
big
know.
ball. We're getting huge.
Nah, I don't know. But the thing is, in this scenario, do we still have TJD or is he also a Jazz?
I'm assuming the Warriors are keeping TJD.
Yeah.
And he's your backup big, giving you 15, 20 minutes.
Shit, do they?
Something like that.
Because a lineup that I'm actually interested to see if we get Laurie is a combination of Laurie on the floor with Quinton Post and Steph and like Melton. That'd be cool because like that's literally 5-out offense with 2 bigs on the floor that can both shoot, and one of them can attack closeouts too. So it's like, hey man, the shooting. I see the vision with the offense. I'm not gonna lie, I really do. I really
you
see
think they're
the
trading
vision.
Walker Kessler with Larry Markkinen? You are out of your mind.
If we manage to do
Now
that,
we're just getting greedy.
we're shooting for the stars here.
It's like everyone putting Caruso into their Levine trade package. Like, no, it's not happening, guys.
No, I'm sorry. That Levine package, man. We could have. You know what? I can't still be sitting about and thinking about the past because it still makes me a little bit mad. Man, what could have been? We could have had. Damn. I'm praying. I'm praying, Sam. I need this deal to work out. Because if this deal doesn't work out, then we're actually screwed. Like, we don't have anything left to go with at all, other than signing DeAnthony Melton to 12 mil for 1 year.
Don't sleep on Melton.
If Melton's going to be the difference for us winning a title, then amen. Hats off to you, bro, if you predicted that, honestly. But I just don't think he's enough to help us contend. I think Laurie will be. But if to go back to the Laurie question, because this is pretty interesting with him. If we trade away the Hall of youth, who are going to be the guys to come off the bench that we're eyeing at in the market to like sign to vet minutes or something like that? Because they have to be replaced, right?
It's a good question. I hadn't even thought about it. Who's available? Can you like screen share a list? Like
Yeah,
some
hold
more,
on.
We can go through. Yeah, we could go through Spotrack's list of
like who's still out there?
who's still available. So I'll pull it up right now.
Because I
Alright,
think like the last couple of years, there's going to be a lot of dudes who end up on vet minimums who can potentially do something.
Yeah, that is true. Let me share my screen really quickly.
It's not the place you want to
all right, so we got
do all your signings. Some of these dudes are getting
Miles Bridges. Someone or I saw someone earlier talking about, oh, what if they're sending Miles Bridges to the Golden State? I was like, bro, if you do that, you were
Wiggins is
officially
gone.
you officially have the worst like player management of all time.
Yeah, I don't think that one's going to fly.
It shouldn't. If Miles Bridges becomes a Warrior, Andrew Wiggins will no longer be a Warrior. So,
He'll sit out the whole year.
Yeah, he won't be there at all.
Markelle Fultz will probably cost too much money.
Hey man, Kyle Anderson.
No,
well,
he's staying in Minnesota. Yeah. He's staying.
Hey man, Monte Morris.
Tyus Jones. Probably still too expensive.
Hey, King James.
We can't do that.
Bring Alec Burks back.
Hey,
he had a nice half season.
Do we bring in do we bring in THT?
But why? Yeah. Patrick Beverly?
But why is hilarious.
Hey man, the Hellcat demon.
Oh man. Torian Prince? Honestly, I'm not too mad at him being a rotation guy because in LA he was he not like starting primarily for like a good amount of time?
Hey man.
Campaign?
Oh hey, man, no. Walk with me.
Nah, he's staying.
He's 34?
Wait, who's 34?
Seth Curry. Actually, yeah, he's
34 and
that
happened fast.
That
checks out. Steph is 36.
He was only 2 years.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought Seth Curry was 30 for the last like 4 years. I'm not gonna lie to you.
4 years ago, he was. So.
Sadiq Bey,
Bossman 99.
No, 5 second-round picks. No.
Sadiq Bey is probably not going to play before the All-Star break because he tore his ACL in March? Like just realistic on the timeline. It was definitely after the All-Star break that he tore his.
Is Gary Trent Jr. still available?
Yeah, March 11th. So.
Yeah, he won't be back until like February.
Yeah. We haven't heard anything about Dario Saric.
We're not bringing him back. I don't believe we're bringing him back. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. He's a one and done. He was Chris Paul's favorite. I'm not gonna say that, but yeah, he was very dear to Chris Paul. That's the best way to put it. But yeah, the market is thin, Sam, 100%. So there isn't.
I think it depends who they have to send out.
Hey man, size.
Oh no.
I mean, Seth Curry might actually be in the cards. He probably not.
He would be.
There's your Steph backup.
Thanasis? Do we go grab him? Maybe like lure Giannis with him, I don't know. Damn, there's like I'm trying to look and see maybe there's names like I don't see anything that Lamar Stevens.
Chris Dunn might be okay.
He might, Chris. I think Chris Dunn. Is he not signed already? Chris Dunn might be signed somewhere. I might be wrong.
J2 just say KB, bro.
What happened? Y'all can't. Please don't pump fake me like this, man. Come on, dude. Oh, you're talking about Thanasis. Okay, I thought something happened. You guys can't call my name. Unless Laurie happened, please don't say my name, bro. I don't say my name unless Laurie happened, dude. Honestly, I'm thinking about it too much. I'm getting a little too excited. Yeah, I'm looking at the names. Sam in Denver. I just don't see anything I like. Bring back Lester.
Let's get the trade. Let's get the trade done first, and then we can move on to.
Yeah, we can definitely do that for sure. I don't honestly. I just pray
I
they
mean,
have to trade.
you could trade Wiggins in a separate deal, and that could be the move that gets you depth. I don't know if it's what you want to do, but I could see a team gambling on him and giving the Warriors like 2 to 3 like good bench players as opposed to what we're looking at right here.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Do you
so
think? What about
You
like when we
you
make the trade? I said
Buda
when.
is
If we make the trade, do we ask like for more than just Laurie? Like, because I know, like I mentioned THT. Obviously, I know Kelly Olynyk was also another player
mhm.
that you can possibly get or something. So, do you like try to go get those other guys that they have? See what they got.
I mean, you're gonna have to give up a lot of stuff to get Larry Markkinen. I don't know if you have enough to go get another trade. I think all you have is Wiggins. Like seriously though,
No, you do. You're right. All we do have is
you're
Wiggins.
probably trading all your draft picks. You're trading, half the prospects. I don't know. It's
So then
it's
that
tough.
means. So then what are you getting back from Dallas then? That goes back to that question because that means you're not
That's
getting
true.
anything back from Klay.
You could like maybe they give you some picks. I'm not sure. So we're gonna have to wait and see. Guys, I'm gonna have to hop
Okay.
momentarily if you
all
guys want
right.
to keep going. But I appreciate you guys having me.
All right, no problem, man. Make sure to check out Sam, guys, the Lightyear podcast. We'll put the link in the description for the YouTube video as well. But yeah, check out Sam, bro. Lovely guy, man. Shout out to Sam. Um,
He said Lowry and then said sorry, just practicing.
yeah, I'm gonna let you rock, gang.
When timeouts get added to this platform, y'all are done.
Cooked. It's done.
My God.
Wait, hold on. Someone just posted this. This is the Woj situation. Yeah, with the latest on Klay Thompson, the Mavericks via sign and trade, the Warriors. Goodness gracious. Sorry about that. The Warriors will acquire a trade exception plus a second round pick from the Hornets. Thompson will be making $50 million over 3 years. One of the big reasons Thompson chose Dallas over the Lakers was the state taxes on his annual value. Bro, he was ducking LA taxes? Is that why? Is it that bad in LA? Is the taxes that bad?
So we got a trade exception and a second round pick.
That's not all, right? There's no way that's all we got from the trade in of itself. Are we for real? Denver? Hello?
I don't know.
Okay, Denver, no. I'm not letting you troll me, dude. I'm sorry. No, that's not happening.
I mean, that's all he listed so far. So
I don't. No. There's just no way. I'm sorry. No, there's just no way. But we need to move on real quick. But I'm not gonna lie, Denver. Can you turn off your share screen real quick because we gotta get sentimental real quick, man, for the podski, man.
hold on.
What are your give me your top 5 favorite Klay moments, man? Give me your top 5, bro.
Just in no particular order. 60 points. First, oh no, actually, second 60-point game I ever saw live. First was the Kobe Bryant's last game. Yeah. So 60 points. 14 threes I can't put up because I wasn't watching that game live. Unfortunately. Game 6 has to be up there.
100%.
Yeah,
I
game
agree.
6. The damn, it's so hard to like narrow it down to.
So you
I would
have
say,
game.
okay, I would actually put the Hawks game from last season up there where he had 54 in a double overtime thriller. So that would be 3, 4.
Bro said 0 of 10.
Oh yeah,
37 and a quarter.
37. Yeah, the 37 and a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4, and then this is a tough one. Return game.
How do you feel about closeout game 6 against Memphis?
It's definitely up there. He has like a couple games. I was thinking of that game. I was thinking of the Mavericks game, the very next round, the closeout game. Uh, was also thinking Game 5, 2016 against the Rockets.
Mm. Another game that came to mind for me is actually no, I'll save it for my top 5 favorite Klay moments. But that's your top 5?
Yeah.
Okay, for me, my top 5. Listen, I wish Gifted was here for this, damn, but whatever.
Bro, like, I
So
don't understand.
I don't know where I don't know. It doesn't matter. For me, my top 5, I think 14 threes was definitely one of my favorite moments. He was insane. And I remember like to start that year, he was like really bad in terms of shooting the ball, like really, really bad.
Yeah, actually, we need to go look at that game log real quick.
And 40 the game 6 in in OKC. I think that's my favorite moment of Klay all time. The pressure of it, what he had to go through, the adversity, that being able to just be in that type of state at the highest level, one of the most pressured games of your career. Shout out to Klay for that. Huge. Um 37 points in a quarter, 100%. That was that was like my first glimpse at like what Klay could be like when he just gets going. And I'm not gonna lie. I will always say this, chat, for Klay Thompson. I will never see a player get that going that quickly as good as Klay Thompson has. It's just even for someone like 30, who I think is like the far superior shooter, the way Klay could just get going off of a simple shot is crazy. Like, it's insane. You will never see, other than Steph, I don't think you'll ever see a flow state like that as a shooter in a long time, in a very long time. So shout out to Klay for that, honestly. Shout out to Klay for that. Um, but my last two is a bit interesting because one of them, it shouldn't be a favorite moment to some people's eyes. It's actually a moment of disaster, but it's the moment beforehand, not the moment, sorry, what was going on beforehand before what happened. And not the overtime. I was going to talk about game 6 of 2019 before the unfortunate injury. I'm not going to lie to you. Before that injury actually happened, that was leading up to be one of my top 3 favorite Klay games ever. Like, I'm not going to lie. The way he was cooking in that game, like he was doing things I have never seen him do. He was doing right to left crosses, step back threes over Siakam. He was cooking. The Oracle Arena was jumping. It was just like it was a different feeling. Like I always said like Klay always given us moments, but like he was never really consistent when we needed him in his position. But he was everything that he needed to be against the Toronto Raptors. Literally everything. And to go out the way he went out was just literally just sad. I have no other words to describe it. But before he went down, definitely one of my favorite moments of Klay's career.
I think,
Because
yeah, honorable mention. I'll put that. Not like surprisingly, not the actual game, but like the fact that this dude came out. He came back out. He heard, "Oh, you got to take the free throws." He was like, "Oh, okay." Went out, hit the free throws, tried to get back on defense, and he was like, "No, no, I'm good. I don't need to come out." And obviously,
yeah.
that man was like about to get an MRI, like being told like what injury he could potentially have, and he asked them, "Can I still play in Game 7?"
Like, bro, like you're not gonna find someone like that, bro. That's the thing. You're just not gonna be able to find someone like that. And shout out to Klay, bro. Honestly, just shout out to Klay. And my last moment, funny enough, is actually recent. Um, Klay's 50-point game against the Hawks last year. I'm not gonna lie to you. That game was crazy. Like the shot making I was seeing from Klay was insane. One thing I'll always like praise Klay about is the fact that he's not the greatest self creator. His shot creation in terms of creating separation for his own shots is not insane, but it's the fact that he can reach the heights of someone who's is a shot creator and like the value and the scoring output without actually having to put the ball on the floor is just insane. Like, who do you know that could actually just put up 60 on like 8 dribbles or whatever it was? Like, that's just you're not gonna be able to find that. I'm sorry.
60 on 11 dribbles, 42 on 4 dribbles.
Like, bro, you're not gonna be able to find stuff like that. And as much as I harp on Klay for not being the self-creator that he was, his biggest strength was what really helped us as well, even though his biggest strength kind of diminished us as well too. But that doesn't really matter right now. It doesn't. I just think, man, I'm a miss Klay. I'm a miss Klay 100%.
Yeah, so I wanted to, because you mentioned this earlier, I wanted to pull this up. Game log of the 2018-19 season before Klay Thompson drops 14 threes and 52 points in, I think, 26 minutes.
Yep.
He had 14 threes. That's the part that's always going to be lost about this game. He had 14 threes made with 5 minutes left in the third quarter.
You know what's crazy? I'm not gonna lie. Steve Kerr.
1-0-0-1-1-0-1-14.
Bro, Steve Kerr, bro. You did this with Steph as well. Remember when Steph had like 12 or 11 threes against OKC and he took him out? This was like, I think it's 21, something like that. He was like really close to like actually, like he was getting in territory of like, I could clip like 16, 17 threes right now in the game. And then Steve Kerr just yanks him. Like, I'm not going to lie. If someone's that close to a record, Steve, you just got to let him play. I'm going to let you hunt. But if you miss your next 3 shots, you're gone. You got to make one of them for you to stay in that game. But
to be fair, bro, when this happened, we were up by like 50 when he hit that last 3. So, I mean, I understand.
I mean, you know, get your money, bro. Like, put the record somewhere where it's not even reachable. Because it's funny enough, Steph is still playing. Who's to say he can't hit that 15-3 mark now?
Yep, here we go. 4:53 left in the third quarter.
That's crazy.
And then all the starters got pulled.
Man, but shout out to Klay, bro. Honestly. I'm gonna give my thank you speech right now, bro. I wanted Gifted to be here for this, but he can give his thank you speech whenever we go live again. Honestly, Klay, I want to thank you, bro. 13 years with us, riding with us, developing a bond that is unbreakable. As someone who watched you play for literally since my Warriors tenure from the start, up until now, you have honestly been one of my favorite players to actually watch. As much as I've been hypercritical about you, the way you shot the ball was some of the most. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like art because everything about his shot was just. You would just like that, and for him to be the champion that he is, a 4-time NBA champion, for him to do the things that he did for us, it's just unforgettable, honestly. And I can't thank Klay enough. And as much as it is bittersweet to see him in another jersey, I'm glad I can say I got to watch him in his prime. I'm glad I can say I got to see him at his highest of highs. And I'm glad I can say that he is a warrior for life, honestly. Even if that means he's in another jersey. Because at the end of the day, he is a warrior to me regardless of where he went. And yeah, bro, shout out to Klay, man, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, Denver, it still feels a bit strange to me. But
Yeah.
if you can say what you want to say about Mr. Thompson, man, and his departure. What do you think, Denver?
I just realized this is the wrong year. My bad.
Oh, you want to show 16?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah. But Denver, what you thinking, bro? Klay's finally gone. Do you have any final thoughts about that?
It's definitely gonna be surreal feeling just seeing him in a different uniform. My entire fandom, he's been here. So I mean, That's going to be very strange. I feel like
100%.
been a fan since I was 13 years old. I'm 24 now, and he's like he's been there for all of it. Yeah, obviously, other than the couple years, but like it's just I don't know. It's just very very strange.
I agree, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I became a fan of this team when I was like 10, like 2012, 2013. But Klay, you'll forever be missed. You're a lifetime champion with us, bro. And when you return to this building, man, hopefully that the Warriors will give you your due, um, and give you the standing ovation that you deserve, along with all the praise that you deserve as well. Because at the end of the day, bro, like as much as we, and not even we, I'm gonna just speak for myself. As much as I like to be hypercritical about Klay and what he could have done and what he could have done to help us,
Is it
he helped
skipping?
us. He helped us a ton. Um, it's not skipping right now for me.
Okay.
It's just like the frames are dropping. But chat, make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on the post notifications as well to be notified when we upload. As well as come to the playback, man. Join the playback. We record our podcast live here every week, every Sunday at 3 o'clock. So pull up, man. Honestly, come out. We watch our games too, our throwback games as well every Wednesday. And yeah, we'll catch y'all later, man. Peace.